Welcome to Story Time, where peaceful stories guide you gently into a deep, restful sleep. Tonight's episode is called The Still Lake and the Ducks, a tranquil tale of calm waters and quiet moments. Close your eyes, relax, and let this gentle story carry you into dreamland. There was a lake, tucked away in a quiet valley, where time seemed to slow down and the world outside faded into a distant hum. The lake's waters were so still that the sky reflected perfectly on its surface, creating the illusion of endless blue. Gentle ripples appeared now and then, but for the most part, the lake remained calm and undisturbed, as if waiting for the next soft breeze or the faint splash of life to remind it of the world around it. Near this lake lived an old woman named Clara, who had spent most of her life by its shores. Her small cottage sat nestled in the hills, surrounded by tall grass and wildflowers. From her front porch, she could see the water glisten in the soft light of dawn and glow silver under the moon's watchful eye. Clara had long found peace in the stillness of the lake, and whenever life felt too overwhelming, she would wander down to its edge, sitting quietly among the reeds, watching the ducks that called the lake their home. The ducks arrived with the changing of the seasons. In the spring, the mother ducks would lead their tiny ducklings out onto the water, their small forms trailing behind like little ripples in the lake. By summer, the ducklings had grown stronger, their wings beginning to flap in the soft breeze, readying them for the day they would take flight. And in the fall, the ducks would gather together, floating peacefully on the water as they prepared to migrate, their presence a constant and calming reminder of nature's gentle rhythms. One quiet evening, Clara found herself walking down the familiar path to the lake, her steps slow and deliberate. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden light across the sky and painting the water in soft shades of pink and orange. The air was cool but not cold, and the only sound was the occasional rustle of the leaves and the distant call of a bird returning to its nest. When Clara reached the shore, she sat down on her usual spot, a smooth rock that jutted out slightly over the water. She breathed in the fresh, clean air and closed her eyes for a moment, listening to the soft lap of the water against the shore. The world seemed to grow quieter around her, and the worries of the day began to melt away. After a while, Clara opened her eyes and saw a small group of ducks gliding across the water, their movements slow and graceful. They made no sound, simply drifting along the lake's surface, their feathers ruffling softly in the breeze. Clara watched them for a long time, her mind growing quiet as she focused on their gentle presence. There was something soothing about the way the ducks moved, never in a hurry, always content to let the water carry them wherever it pleased. They seemed to embody the stillness of the lake itself, their quiet existence a reflection of the calm that Clara had always found in this place. She watched as one of the ducks dipped its head into the water, creating a small ripple that spread out in ever-widening circles, eventually disappearing into the smooth surface of the lake. Clara smiled softly to herself, feeling a deep sense of peace wash over her. She had always admired the ducks for their simplicity, for the way they seemed to live so effortlessly in harmony with the world around them. As she watched them now, she felt her own thoughts slowing, becoming as gentle and steady as the movements of the ducks on the water. The sky above began to darken, the stars slowly appearing one by one, their light twinkling softly on the surface of the lake. The ducks continued to float, their silhouettes dark against the fading light. Clara lay back on the soft grass, looking up at the stars as they reflected in the still waters beside her. The cool night air wrapped around her like a blanket, and she felt her body relax, sinking into the earth beneath her. Her breathing became slow and steady, in rhythm with the gentle ripples of the water. The sound of the ducks moving softly through the lake was the only sound she could hear, their presence a calming lullaby that lulled her deeper into relaxation. She could feel herself drifting, her thoughts quieting as the night grew darker and the stars shone brighter above her. Clara imagined herself floating on the water, weightless, just like the ducks. She could feel the gentle rocking of the lake beneath her, the soft sway of the water carrying her further and further into peace. The night was calm, the air cool and still, and the only movement was the slow, graceful glide of the ducks on the lake. In her mind, Clara became one of them, floating, drifting, free from worry, free from thought. The lake seemed to breathe with her, its surface rising and falling in time with her slow, deep breaths. The ducks, too, moved in a rhythm that matched her own, their wings fluttering softly in the night air. The world around her was quiet, the only sound the soft lap of the water against the shore and the distant rustle of the trees in the breeze. The stars above twinkled softly, their light reflected in the lake's calm waters, creating a sky both above and below. As Clara lay there, her body grew heavier, her eyelids fluttering as sleep began to creep in. The peacefulness of the lake wrapped around her, and her thoughts became like the gentle ripples on the water, slow, soft, fading into the stillness of the night. She felt herself sinking deeper into the quiet, her mind growing quiet, her body relaxing completely. The ducks continued to drift, their soft quacks now just a faint sound in the distance. Clara's breathing slowed even further, and she felt herself drifting into sleep, carried by the peacefulness of the lake and the quiet presence of the ducks. In her dreams, she was floating on the water, surrounded by stars, the gentle movements of the ducks keeping her company as she drifted deeper into a place of perfect rest. The night passed in silence, the lake still and calm, the ducks moving quietly through the water. And when Clara awoke the next morning, the sun was just beginning to rise, casting a soft golden light over the lake. The ducks were still there, gliding peacefully across the water, their presence a reminder of the stillness and calm that Clara had found in this quiet corner of the world. She stood, feeling rested and at peace, the worries of the day before long forgotten. The lake and the ducks had given her the gift of sleep, a gift she would carry with her long after she left its shores. As she made her way back to her cottage, the sound of the water lapping against the shore and the sight of the ducks drifting lazily across the lake stayed with her, a memory of the peace she had found in the stillness of the night. And with that, our story comes to an end. We hope the still lake and the ducks has helped you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. Thank you for joining us on Storytime, where every story is a gentle journey to rest. Until next time, sleep well and good night. And with that, our story comes to an end. We hope the still lake and the ducks has helped you relax and drift into a peaceful sleep. Thank you for joining us on Storytime, where every story is a gentle journey to rest. Until next time, sleep well and good night.